What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. As you can see and maybe hear, I am not on my Benelli. I am on a 2020, let me try and get that decal, Honda Rebel 500s. It is a matte blue, but they consider it, well, their color, Honda calls it blue jeans metallic. I don't even think they say the word matte in there. So far I love this bike. It was very difficult to find this. 300s were pretty available in both the non-ABS and ABS. The 500s, specifically the ABS, are at least in like the New York and tri-state area, impossible to come by. Like, no one had them available. I was looking at dealerships in Ohio, but I ended up finding a 500. Didn't even care what color it was at that point, but it is not ABS. I've never ridden a motorcycle with ABS, so it would have been nice to have that extra, safety feature, but I figured I would just take it, I would take it smooth and not do anything crazy, I guess, on the bike to put me in a situation where I would really need ABS. But I mean, I'm also not gonna not ride the bike. And I don't know. Maybe in the future, yeah, if ABS is an option, I guess I would rather have it than not have it. But for me, I really wanted this bike. And yeah, the only option was this color, non-ABS, and out the door price was around $7,400. I was able to bring them down a little bit. It was a 2020 model, brand new. It had 0 miles on it, but it again, like I said, it was a 2020 model. The 2020 and 2021 models, I don't think anything changed besides the color options. So this was a 2020 specific color, which is nice. It is limited, and I did like the color at first, but it really grew on me, and I figured, you know what, everyone has black, and let me at least stand out a little bit. This looks good with the black accents. I put the engine cowl on. I have a rear passenger seat that I'll probably eventually install, and a couple other mods. I have a saddlebag down below, which you can see. I bought that off Amazon. Again, I'll link all of the items that are on this bike, all the mods and everything, in the description down below. There is a Two Brothers exhaust, slip-on exhaust on this, which sounds beautiful in my opinion. It's nice, deep, it's throaty, it sounds like a cruiser. It sounds like what this bike was meant to sound like. The stock exhaust wasn't as bad as what like everyone else was kind of making it out to, between the forums and other YouTube videos. But this Two Brothers exhaust, I think, just sounds amazing. I was really on the fence between this and the Vance Hines, but the Vance Hines, I was watching some videos, and I don't know, some people were saying that it was a little bit more higher pitched than the Two Brothers, and I really wanted to go for a deeper sound, not so much a high pitched sound. So at first, when I installed this exhaust, which only takes like 10 minutes, it sounded great. But after riding it and like breaking in the exhaust, it sounded even better, and I was just, it really solidified that $400 premium price tag, because most of the other exhausts, this was actually the most expensive one I saw before a full exhaust system. So for a slip-on, everything else was, I think the Vance Hines was around the same price, maybe $40 less. And then everything before that was, I think it was like $200. There was a $50 like shorty slip-on from Amazon, which actually sounded nice, and for the price you really couldn't go wrong. but I always wanted a Two Brothers exhaust, and on my Benelli I was really looking forward to installing either the Two Brothers or actually the Yoshimura. But if you've seen my other video, you know that none of the exhausts on the Benelli were available, and I went with the Max Torque Cans exhaust, which is nice. It was made in the UK. Happy with that. But yeah, anyway, I'm really happy that I was able to buy a bike and get a Two Brothers exhaust on here. Even though it's just a slip-on, I don't know if you could hear it, but it sounds amazing. Nice little burble to it. Has some backfires here and there. But yeah. Anyway, back to the bike. So it's the 500. Everyone says it's a great beginner bike. I think it's a great all-around bike. Again, this is really my first motorcycle, so I can't have too much say as far as a bike like this compared to, let's say, a larger bike, you know, 650 to 1000 cc or something like that. But this thing has power. I mean, I popped it in first, second. I did a wheelie. I was shocked that I did the wheelie and landed it. Look, it wasn't anything crazy. It was probably, I don't know, couple, maybe half a foot off the ground. But my front wheel was off the ground. First time I did it, I just took off from a dig, not expecting to do a wheelie, and I did. And then right after that, when I came to a stop again, I intentionally tried to do a wheelie, and I was able to do it. So that was nice to see. People say that you can't do wheelies on these things. I beg to differ. Hopefully one day I'll be able to do a much larger wheelie and get it on camera. But yeah, for this bike, it has a lot of power. It's very comfortable. It handles so well. It handles like a sport bike going around turns. Drives like a cruiser. It's comfortable. I think the stock seat is not very comfortable, but definitely more comfortable, again, what people are making it out to be. Love the LED lighting on this. Clutch points. Everything is very smooth. Really easy to ride. Has plenty of power for around town. Good highway power. And I think I got this up to around 92, 93 miles an hour. It was going back and forth between the two, so I guess I was kind of maxing it out. Didn't really feel like I was going uphill. It did feel like just a flat level ground. Again, it was on a highway, of course, but yeah, it was around 92, 93, which I expected. Some people were saying they were getting 100 plus, almost 110 miles an hour on this bike, which at the end of the day, I mean, when are you really going those speeds on a bike? I mean, especially as a beginner, going on a highway is pretty frightening to begin with. But yeah, so it has plenty of power, and I don't really see myself necessarily outgrowing this. Do I eventually want a bigger bike? 100%. But I could see myself keeping this for so many reasons. I mean, it's Honda, so the reliability is there. But again, it's also Honda, so the parts are cheap, and the bikes are easy to work on. I mean, they did cram a lot of stuff in here, and the only thing I don't like, and I guess this was just a Honda thing and I had no idea, but it wasn't a make or break kind of situation, but I like when you can use your key to remove the seat. Hondas, I found out, don't offer that feature. You actually have to like unbolt things, unbolt some bolts in order to take the seat up, which I don't know, I just find very odd. Like, I understand there's really not much storage space below there, but I think ease of use and everything, it's I mean, it's nice just to have the key to unlock it rather than, you know, now I have to carry around a little tool set, let's say, if I wanted to lift the seat. Because what I do actually do sometimes with my other with my Benelli, for instance, if I don't want to take my helmet in to a place, if I park, let's say, I'll lift the seat and then put the strap underneath the seat, and it'll act pretty much just like a lock. I mean, yeah, someone can come along and either really yank, I mean, if you yank it out, you're going to end up breaking the strap. Like, the only way to really take it out is you're going to end up breaking the strap. And the helmet at that point is going to be pretty useless. But you could, I guess you could always buy another strap and resell it online, especially when you're talking about a $200-300 AGV Scorpion Bell helmet, let's say. So yeah, this gonna do a quick parkway pull. Again, the Benelli, I mean, I would be struggling right now. I don't even have to be in 4th gear right now. I could really be in 3rd, but just to kind of cruise. I have 2 more gears to go. The Benelli, I would be probably in 5th gear right now, and cars in the slow lane would be honking at me. Speedometer on this is very accurate, maybe off by 1 or 2 miles per hour. Nothing like the Benelli, which was off by like 7 to almost 10 in some some instances. But yeah, I mean, this, I'll see if I could do a pull up ahead just to see, for you to see the amount of torque that this has coming out of a light, let's say. Plenty of power. The Benelli, it just makes a lot of noise and you're not really going anywhere fast. But not with the Rebel 500. But again, totally different bikes, totally different power outputs. I hope you could hear the sound of this Two Brothers exhaust, because I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. I haven't heard the other exhausts in person, but from just this exhaust alone, I mean, I would buy this 100 times over. So right now I'm in 5th. I still have, it still pulls. I could easily pass cars. I could throw it into 6th, and it still has some torque there. I mean, I think honestly, if you're looking for a beginner bike, skip the 300, because I could just tell that the power that this has compared to, let's say, the 300 is probably just going to be way too slow. I'm sure if you're looking for just a larger moped for around town that you don't really plan on taking for longer cruises or anything like that, the 300 would be a great option. A couple thousand less than the 500, but if you're like me and you want to go on maybe an hour and a half road trips, then the 500 is definitely the better option. Weight wise, I think you're looking at around 400 pounds, 420 pounds with gas. This does take regular 87 octane. I think they rated it at like, I think in the manual it said like 86 plus. I go off of that. I mean, I'll add fuel additives, for instance, like some Marvel Mystery Oil in the oil and in the gas, just to prolong the engine life. But as far as using premium, I think it's really just a waste. It's not necessary. Go with top tier gasoline, so you know that the detergents and the gasoline is clean, that you're not buying crappy gas. As long as you're going with top tier gas and 87 octane, you're fine. Again, this bike, the engineers designed this bike a certain way. They tested it with that certain octane, even with the exhaust. I mean, I bought this exhaust because I wanted to make sure that people could hear me. I didn't want to sound obnoxious. And again, what's nice about this exhaust is it has that nice deep sound. It's loud, but it's not overbearing. And people could definitely hear you coming up. So safety wise, that's there too. But it's not, you're not screaming. It doesn't give you a headache. and it sounds really good. I think it pairs very well with this bike. And now again, it wasn't necessary, not 100%. Like I was saying, the engineers really, I mean, they obviously designed everything on this bike with specific standards, and you know, everything is supposed to work with each other. All the components go hand in hand with each other. So with that being said, if you're on the fence, if it's such a big deal about, oh, do I use 87 octane, do I use mid-grade premium, use 87. No reason to use anything more. I like adding the fuel additives and the oil additives just because it really cleans everything out too. Oh, this is pretty rough road here. Suspension on this is good. Today actually, I don't know, since I started filming this, the front suspension felt a little weird, like very bouncy, but overall, like before that, everything seemed fine. I think it's just because I was going at such low speeds, or maybe honestly, I guess the road was just uneven and I didn't notice it. Like right now, hitting these little bumps, you may not be able to see them on the camera, but it handles it pretty well. I've driven this almost 450 miles. I bought this previous Wednesday. It is now Sunday. I don't think I've ridden it every single day because of the weather, the bipolar weather here in New York. It's supposed to be raining right now. It was supposed to be raining all day. Clearly it's not. The roads have been dry all day. It rained last night, but it's obviously not raining now. But yeah, I'm trying to break it in. I have all my whole oil kit and everything, so once I hit 600 miles, I'm going to do that, the break-in oil change, clean the chain, look at the chain, you know, go over everything, just anything that I have to. But right out of the box, this bike is pretty flawless, and I am very happy with it. I would buy it again. Highly recommend if you're looking for a beginner. I really don't want to say it's a beginner bike because it does have a lot of power. I wouldn't recommend this to someone for, like, as a first bike, honestly. Like, unless if you're good with your, you know, hand-eye coordination and you know, being able to balance yourself on two wheels. I think this bike has a lot of power for someone that is brand new to motorcycles, being on two wheels, like holding your own weight up. So again, in that situation, I would maybe go with a 300 if you're looking for a cruiser, and a beginner bike if you're, you know, a little nervous. But I think you will, if you're the type of person, if you're, I don't know, it's tough to say. Like, you'll grow, you could very easily grow out of the 300. And I don't want it to be, obviously, I don't want to recommend that, and then it's a waste of money because now you're trying to sell a 300 to get into a 500, or I don't think you'd jump up to an 1100. But I was looking up 1100s last night, trying to figure out what I want. I would love to have two bikes. I don't know necessarily if I want two cruiser style bikes. I was looking at the FTR from Indian, but my dream cruiser is really like an Indian Scout. I think those are great bikes. Liquid cooled, ABS, they really have everything. Harley just came out with their new Sportster S, I believe it's called, which again is very nice, but I think it's just a little too expensive for like really what it is. They're really trying to appeal to, you know, everyone, the other company. I mean, Honda's really killing the game right now, and I think Harley's, you know, obviously noticing that, and they're like, shit, we got to do something about this because they're losing sales. Indian's killing the game too, as far as American company wise goes. But yeah, a lot of bikes to choose from, and I don't know, if you have a recommendation, throw it down below. Obviously, I bought my bikes at the worst time to buy a bike, the busiest season, and also COVID pretty much not ending, but it's nowhere near like how last summer was. Everyone wants to kind of be out now, and bike dealerships, new and used, very hard to come by motorcycles. Even, I mean, Harley did great this year too. Every dealership I went to, that Harley or not, if they had a used Harley, that thing was sold. It had a sold sticker on there. Also, every dealership I went to, every single Honda Rebel 500 was sold. ABS, non-ABS, it was sold. Like I said before, the only thing available was a 300, and I was very, very, very close. I sat down with the manager to talk about pretty much getting into a 300. Got the out the door price, was almost ready to sign the papers, and I said, you know what, I just want to think about this. He said he was getting 2 500s in, non-ABS, in black, or it's not even black, they call it gray. And I was like, I really can't wait. I'm going to Europe for vacation for pretty much a good month, and I wanted to have a bike that I'd be able to ride for like the 2-3 weeks, of riding time before I go to Europe. And if I had to wait for the bike, he wasn't even sure when 100% it was going to be delivered, because he didn't have it. It didn't even leave the warehouse or whatever, freight wise. He just knew that they were built and that they were ready to ship, and I think they shipped, but I don't know, it was confusing. Anyway, I didn't have the time to wait. So I left that dealership. Next day, called up more dealerships. I called like 25 dealerships, everyone in New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Then I started getting into Ohio and even Florida to try and find a 500 ABS, and it was impossible. Finally, I found a dealership that had a 500 non-ABS, like I was saying before, in New York, and I went out, ended up getting this bike. So what was kind of messed up, I'm not going to name dealerships because I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, and yeah, so anyway, the dealership I went to, it was a dealership in Connecticut, and for the 300 he wanted a little bit less than what I got this 500 for. Okay, I don't know how. First off, see, that's a one-way. I have a green light, and where was that guy coming from? That's why you gotta just always be, if you think you're careful on a bike, you gotta be even more careful. You can never be comfortable. As I'm riding with one hand. Yeah, so when I was looking at the paper, because I even told the dealership in New York, let me think about this for a second. I go out to my car, and I'm calling other dealerships just to see what they're charging for out the door prices on the 500s, if they, when they would get them in and whatever, if they had just from previous purchases. That guy's riding no helmet. Oh my god, what is going on? Yeah, so I'm looking at the paper that the Connecticut dealership gave me, and the out the door sticker price was, the monthly payment was the same as this 500, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, thank God I didn't pull the trigger for so many reasons. I mean, one, I would have overpaid for a 300, and two, I would have had a bike that I really didn't want. I mean, the nice thing about that dealership was the guy there, he did tell me, he's like, look, don't get into something that you're gonna, like, that you really don't want. So I appreciated that honesty. But yeah, it kind of sucks because like in a way you trust you trust him, and then, you know, you think, yeah, he's doing you a favor, like giving you the truth, but throws out an out-the-door price on a cheaper bike, and it ended up, it's, you know, it was monthly payment wise, it was the same as this. I think, well, the APR, he had no say over that, but his out-the-door price was way too high. Again, I did negotiate a little bit with this bike, so who knows if I was able to negotiate with the dealer out in Connecticut, but I doubt I would have been able to get that much more off. So, moral of the story, if you're looking for a bike, something in this category, if you've been looking at the Rebel 500, buy it. I get so many compliments with it. You're gonna love it. I mean, if you like this cruiser style, it's super comfortable. My back doesn't hurt. Like, I just get tired from it because I'm riding for so much, but I love every single minute of it. It just gets better and better and better. Between the exhaust, the whole riding experience, has nice, like, thick handle, thick grips. Braking is great. Aesthetic wise, this bike looks friggin' beautiful. LED lights, I mean, there's really not much more you could ask for. It has a gear indicator. I bought a aftermarket gear indicator because everyone's saying, like, oh, yeah, they don't have, the Rebel 500s don't have the gear indicators, blah, blah, blah. I think the 2019 and previous models did not have gear indicators, but the 2020 clearly has a gear indicator, which I thought was nice. It doesn't tell you your RPMs, but to be honest with you, just listen to the bike, listen to the engine, you know when to shift. And if you don't, then go back to the drawing board. Oh, look at that. So I'm thinking of selling my Benelli, because with this bike I really don't drive it anymore, and someone's offering me $2,000, which would be a steal for them, but it would just be stupid on my part because that bike is definitely worth way more than that. It's clean, never dropped, it's brand new. I actually pride myself in how clean I did all of the aftermarket work, between the full exhaust system, the USB charger, the underglow lighting, like all the wiring and everything. You can't even tell there's wires. It's all like super clean. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoy. Stay tuned. There's gonna be plenty of more videos with this baby, and follow me on my journey of just like riding a motorcycle and improving my skills. Hopefully, you know, if you're new to bikes too, let me know. Leave a comment down below. Love to make friends. If you're in like the Westchester County, New York area, even Connecticut, Greenwich, Stamford, Norwalk, let me know. Leave a comment. I'd love to go for a cruise with other people and just get out and explore, ride, just have fun. But yeah, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.